Good morning, everybody. This is Dan Spots on behalf of the Dallas Area Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to Community Affairs. Today is Thursday, April 23rd. The month is going quickly, and there's a few things going on this weekend. I think it's something called Northwest Cherry Festival. So enjoy. It's going to be a busy weekend. I don't know if Lisa's going to be able to join us. She had hoped to briefly to provide some updates, but it's a crazy time of the season for her. So we'll see if she's able to drop in. We did not have our speaker for this week, so this is an open forum discussion. And so please feel free to weigh in on issues, updates around the table that we need to know about. And at some point in the meeting, I would love to get some feedback on the history of the Columbia Gorge Discovery Center. I remember it myself, but I'd like perspectives around the table because I've been asked to participate in some strategic discussions out that way, and like to get some feedback. So with that, I'm going to go around the table, and I will start with Mr. Scott McKay. Scott, your mic is on. There you go.
Yep, I had to take some time to unmute myself. Scott McKay, volunteer for Circles of Care. And did you want to introduce everybody, then come back and start the different discussions? I mean, what's happening?
Sounds fair, Scott.
Okay.
All right.
I got some things to share, but I'll wait till everyone gets introduced.
Okay. That works for me. Mike Wacker.
Good morning, everybody. I'm with Fort Dalles Museum on the board and with the Dalles Kiwanis Club also on that board.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Commissioner Brady.
Hello, Bill Brady. I'm here at Starbucks in Hood River today. I'm going to need to leave a bit early. I'm being interviewed on KIHR with Mark Bailey at 8 o'clock.
Please give Mark my regards. Mr. Rob Garrett.
Good morning, Rob Garrett, Mid-Columbia Senior Center, and I'll talk about a lot of stuff when I get a chance, I guess.
Okay, all right.
Looking forward to it.
Bill Lennox.
Good morning, everyone. I'm with the North Central Public Health and also the Six Rivers Dispute Resolution Center, and we're not have Julie Reynolds here today, so I'm also on the St. Paul's Chapel Committee, and we just finished a great concert, so good to see everybody.
Thanks for joining, Bill. Misa Olson.
Hi, I'm Misa Olson. I work for vocational rehabilitation on their workforce team.
Jacob Anderson.
Good morning, everyone. Jacob Anderson, Economic Development Officer for the City of the Dalles and also the Columbia Gateway Urban Renewal Agency Manager.
All right. Thank you, Jacob. Jacob, is that a new official title? Urban Renewal Manager?
Well, about 6 months ago.
Oh, okay. Cool. Good. And Leslie Naramore. Leslie, are you with us this morning?
I am
There
sorry. I'm on
okay.
my phone and the buttons are different. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm Leslie Naramore. I'm the Executive Director of Mid-Columbia Community Action Council, which is the community action agency for Hood River, Wasco, and Sherman counties.
Thank you, Leslie. And we have Liz Wilbur.
Good morning, everyone. Apologies for being late. I had some technical difficulties this morning. Liz Wilbur, Columbia Cascade Housing Corporation, and I see some of our wonderful board members here today.
Thank you, Liz. And Liz, in case I mentioned earlier, we do not have a speaker this morning, so this is a community forum. And we're going around the table talking more in depth on issues and updates. So we're going to circle right back to Mr. Scott McKay. And Scott, is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine, and I'm not muted. So anyway, well, once again, welcome everyone. I just have a couple things to report, and I hope I don't take anything from Rob because both are related to the Mid-Columbia Senior Center. But let me first say that right now I'm in Portland for the Northwestern Oregon Library Association meeting. And my wife is the chair of the advisory committee for the Wasco County Library, and and I just want to make sure everyone's aware that we have probably one of the best rural libraries in the state. If you know all the different activities it provides, if you want to do your Pilates, or if you want to do yoga classes or book clubs, or all the children activities, youth activities, the friendliest staff that I can imagine go to the Wasco County Library. Plus, they have libraries in Dufur and in Maupin. And so it's a fantastic library, and I feel somewhat responsible for the success of the Wasco County Library, because when I was on the county court, we told them we could no longer fund them anymore because we just didn't have the resources at that time. So we were the spark plug that generated the interest to go out and get their own levy and bond levy to continue the library services in the Wasco County and to grow the Wasco County services in Wasco County. When I was a county commissioner, we were always tight when it came to budgets, and I think we end up at times having the library only could afford the library to be open maybe 30 or less hours a week, and it was really tough. And one of my favorite, I remember getting skewed, criticized by Corliss and other folks because I had some county court meeting, and Bill and Phil may appreciate that. Sometimes you say things just in the wrong way. And I said, we just could no longer afford to be in the business of libraries. And boy, I was told, no, libraries are not a business.
I could hear that one coming.
I didn't really mean that, but anyway, we just couldn't afford it anymore. So that just a little plug there for our Wasco County libraries. And the other thing is that and this is where Rob comes in, is that with the Dementia Friendly Wasco County Partnership, one of the initiatives that we have been able to start was the Cherry Blossom Respite. And Rob knows all about that because the Mid-Columbia Senior Center we would not have the program except for the fact that they stepped forward to be the grantee of the funding, and it's been at the Mid-Columbia Senior Center on Wednesdays in the afternoons. Rob and everyone, we've all talked about afternoons is not the best time for a respite program. We may have talked about this before. So with the steering committee's help and Rob's help, we are, and Rob can correct me if I'm wrong, that the programs are going to be moving to the St. Paul's Episcopal Church in May, I believe, from 9 to 3. Well, at least in the mornings, which is a much better
10,
time.
10 to 3, Scott. 10 to
9 to 3.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 10 to 3, you said?
Yes.
Okay. And that's going to be a great move and help, strengthen the program and get more people, get more individuals involved with the program. So then the second thing is, once again, has to do with the Mid-Columbia Senior Center, is I'm still a volunteer for Circles of Care. We no longer had a paid community liaison since I retired at the end of August. And at this time, I believe the Senior Center and Mike Glover have stepped forward to, I think, volunteer his time. And so we can kind of restart the program and get it going again and provide opportunities for older adults to have friendly visits or transportation, that type of thing. I think every volunteer I have talked to is still continuing to visit the people they were assigned or were matched with when it was operating. And so that's been going on, and hopefully with the support of Mike and the senior center, will expand again and providing those important services for older adults to deal many times with that epidemic of loneliness, living by themselves or having very few friends and that type of thing. So those are my two reports, and then Rob, he can, as he already has, can help clarify what I have misspoken about. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Scott. And that sounds like a good segue over to Rob to me, but I appreciate those updates. We all do. Thank you, Scott. Rob, Garrett, you want to tell us what's going on with the senior center? And
I can. I'd love to. In fact, I was kind of, when I get warmed up, listen to other people first, but now Scott got me right in the thick of it just as fast as we can go, didn't he? So thank you, Scott. Well, Scott's right. The respite program is moving. I'm not sure if it's going to be next Tuesday. It was on Wednesdays, has been on Wednesdays. Yesterday it was Wednesday, but it's going to be on Tuesday from 10 to 3. That's Danette's plan. And I'm not sure she's going to make it there for next week. She's working on moving all the equipment and gear that we have stored in the shed out back so that she has what she needs across town. Anyway, it's a good idea to move it to that time frame. I think, and the committee would probably concur that, and Scott's one of that group, is that it just was too exhausting for people to come at 1, 2, 3 in the afternoon when they'd rather be taking a nap. And especially I know how I feel when I'm not feeling my best. I may be okay if I say I go to work in the morning, I'm kind of a little bit down, or how you guys get, but I work through it. And then by 2, 3 in the afternoon, 1, 2 in the afternoon, I'm pooped, I'm ready for a nap. Well, put your feet in the shoes of those people who are dealing with this, and maybe even the people who are caring for them. I think the morning hours are better. Danette's working with Meals on Wheels to also provide a delivered lunch to the group, I think, so it kind of solves the food problem. So I mean, it's a good change. Even though I enjoy having more people in the building, it doesn't, if we're not really serving them, I'd rather have them someplace where they could be served best. And it doesn't matter to me where they are in town, as long as they're in town and we're doing something and growing. So that's that on the respite program. And thank you, Scott. You actually covered it very well. So I've got a few things going on to talk about at the senior center. First off, I want to let everyone know you're not going to read about what's happening at the reader board anymore on the corner of 10th and Cherry Heights, because the saga of the reader board is continuing. And Mike Wacker, I'm sorry you get to hear this twice today since I'm speaking at the Kiwanis. And Mike, listen, plug your ears. Anyway, the last Thursday morning, a week ago at 8 o'clock, a young lady in an automobile had a seizure, a medical episode of some kind, went unconscious, bounced off one car in front of the church up the street here, the St. Peter's, and then hit another car in the intersection and made that one spin out of control. And then she herself stopped on top of our sign. Oh. And it didn't hold up to the automobile. It's now flat on the ground out there, and she broke the signposts on either side, or one of the sides, the left side. She went right over the top of it. To be honest with you, I believe there was a car parked in the space down below the sign, because we were getting ready to go on a trip to Prineville to see a museum with the seniors. And had that sign not been there, she went up on the post. It caught the underside of the car right below her driver's door and lifted the car in the air, because the post was in concrete. I think it kept her from going over the cliff and into another car. Might have saved her life, or at least kept her from severe injury. And the other thing about it is no one in all the 3 cars was hurt at all. Cars didn't fare too well, and neither did the sign. We had some damage, of course, but thankfully airbags were deployed, and a little boy was in one of the other cars. This one that was hit in the intersection, he got out with his mother, and they were all fine. I imagine a little shaken up, but now we're filing a claim with the insurance company to get the sign replaced. And Mark McCavick, Columbia River Electric, was here almost he lives up on Cherry Heights, and he called me an hour after it happened and said, "Hey, Rob, you need some help with your sign?" And so he has given us a bid to get the sign replaced, and we'll probably get a better sign, because the technology is just far superior to what was when we were originally bought the sign. So, you know, before you couldn't take a picture of it, it would just flicker, flicker, flicker. This one, then they showed us a sample of it. You can take a picture from 80 feet away, and it just is a picture, just like if I was taking a picture of my computer screen or whatever, you know, a screenshot. And you can put our website stuff on it. You can put videos on it. You know, I even thought maybe we could have a drive-in movie in our parking lot. It'd be kind of fun, but I don't know how I do the volume, the voice. Anyway, that's the saga of the sign. Life goes on. We'll be fixed in 5 or 6 weeks, we hope, assuming insurance comes through. Next thing I have going is this Saturday, and this is to do with Cherry Festival. And you know, Lisa is not here to talk about it, but she will be here at the center Saturday morning about 8:30, as we're going to coronate the royals and the Queen and King. So, and the Grand Marshal here at the Senior Center for our Cherry Festival breakfast and royal coronation. Now, the breakfast starts about 8 o'clock in the morning. We're going to start serving. We're having eggs, sausage, biscuits and gravy, and some fruit. And it's $8 a person at the door to come in. And we're going to serve till about 9:30 or till we run out of stuff or it dwindles out or the people start going to the parade. Anyway, this is a tradition at the Senior Center. I don't know what year they started doing it, but it was shortly after the Senior Center was opened, I'm thinking. So, you know, we're probably looking at 35, 40 years in that neighborhood of doing this, which is kind of fun to have traditions like that in our little community. I love it. So anyway, that's going on. And I invite everyone to come. I'd love to see you all here. It's a good crowd. The Boy Scouts come in and help bus tables after we feed them and before they go to be in the parade. So it's a good time. And I think it's a good community service for the Senior Center to do. And we like doing it. A lot of the board members will be here. It's good. Last thing I'll talk about, so someone else can get a chance, is the Wasco County Candidates Forum will be held next Tuesday, April 28th. The doors open at 5:30. The presentation begins at 6 o'clock. Roger Nichols will be the moderator, and I believe there'll be Wasco County Commissioners there, position 1 and position 3. I imagine we'll see Phil, and U.S. Senators position, U.S. Representative 2nd District, State Senator 26th District, State Representative 52nd District, and State Representative from the 57th District will also be here. That's the list Lisa put forth. And now whether they'll all be here, I don't know. I'm guessing there'll be quite a crowd regardless of how many come, as it was last fall when we did it, and again last spring. So if you get here, you know, I would assume maybe overflow parking over by Cascade Square or possibly in the St. Mary's parking lot, of course, around the street. We will fill up pretty fast in the parking area, and I will have every chair that I can get in the building down the floor. So anyway, I invite everyone to come to that.
Rob, will that be videoed YouTube live?
I don't know. It was last time. Lisa had it done, but I'm not sure because Lisa is in charge of that. I'm not sure. I hope so, because if someone wanted to catch it live, that would sure save them having to find parking, and they're going to get the same. You know, Roger does a really good job of keeping it under control. This is not a yelling and screaming event where people have questions. The questions are already posed. The candidates, I'm not sure if they know them in advance. Maybe Phil does know that or not, but at very least, Roger will have it under control, and it's not going to be a bunch of people standing up and screaming at the candidates, or, you know, it's going to be very well organized. Roger does a very good job. If you've been to one before, he's kind and he keeps it under control. So I think it's a good place for you to meet your candidates, you know, and hear what they have to say about the issues, and then get a chance to vote. I mean, our ballots coming out next week? I believe that's when they come out. So that's when we timed it. Anyway, that's all I have. I'm sorry it took so long, but thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, Rob.
And
Scott?
and a couple of things. One is a shout out to Chris Zukin and Meadow Outdoor Advertising, because they first installed that sign for free. All the signage. That's when I was the director there. He just donated all the labor, and so a lot of that's responsible because of Chris Zukin's efforts. And then, Rob, is the quilt raffle ticket drawing happening on Cherry Festival on Saturday?
I can't say because it depends on how full the jar gets out there. They don't give away the quilt until there's enough tickets in it to make it worth it. So if not, it'll be at the parking lot sale, which is in July. I think we can have it full by then. But yeah, last I looked, it was only about a third full. So
okay, so if I
you gotta buy more tickets, Scott.
Okay, well, I give away a free raffle ticket every week of my column, and in order to have that drawing, does that mean I have to go in and buy more tickets?
Yes. I
Okay,
don't know,
thank you,
Scott.
Rob.
All right, everybody go in and buy tickets. Thank you.
Get that
Thank you
bowl
both.
full.
And we're fortunate to have Roger as a moderator. He's not with us this morning, but what a gift to the community. A very, very talented moderator at these events. Thank you, Rob. Other news from Senior Center?
Well, I want to give someone else a chance. There's
Okay.
always, it's happening here at the center all
All right.
seems like 24/7, but give someone else a chance.
Well, I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Brady because I know he's got a radio show coming up before too long.
Okay, yeah, Phil Brady, Wasco County Commissioner. And actually, this is involves Jacob as much because I just wanted to say one thing about the Basalt Commons to correct a public impression, which I can understand why, is it's not a done deal yet. You know, that we bought the land and agreed to lease it back to the developer. That's conditioned on the developer getting the rest of the financing together. So this is not a when, but an if. And if that doesn't, don't get the financing, given the changes in costs of things, then the deal falls apart and we haven't done anything at the county. So it go back to status quo. So once again, we didn't put a final approval and now it's got to move forward. The developer still has some work to do. I'll leave it there.
Commissioner, other updates from the county?
Well, we're in budget season, and so.
Oh, that's funny right there. All right.
We're in budget season, and I'm sorry I don't have the date for our budget meetings now, but sad to say these are the most important meetings of the year and not attended by public. I never would have gone to them. So as I'm looking ahead at the budgets, I'm seeing the county is going to be fine. Several of the agencies that provide critical public services are going to be really hurting because of federal cuts. Federal cuts to Medicaid are going to hurt several of the agencies that get fee for service. I'll get every time.
Yeah, speaking as a board member of One Community Health, definitely understand that situation. Mike, you had your hand up, and then Jacob.
Yeah, Phil, does that mean the project may not happen if they can't get their funding together?
Yeah, that's exactly what it means. Yeah,
Wow.
they had funding put together, but we want them to go back one more time and make sure they have that funding given the changes in interest rates and the changes in cost of construction.
Thanks.
Jacob, do you want to take it from there? You had your hand up.
I just was gonna, Phil, could you explain to the group a little bit about where the current money is? Is it sitting in an LGIP account? And if you do make this purchase and sell and lease back, would you be getting more money off of it than you currently have it sitting in the bank?
Right, it's not in LGP, it's in our what do you call it, our regular fund. And we already have and put a lot as much money as we can into LGIP, which is Local Government Investment Pool. And that's a state-run pool that invests in things that are appropriate for local governments to invest. And so and that usually returns, well, never gets higher than 4%. And it can be as low as 0.5%. The rent that we will be choosing, the lease that we will be charging amounts to about a 5% return on investment. A couple other concessions on this is we're paying it for $3,080,000. And in the first 5 years, the developer has an option to buy it back for us at a slightly increased price of $3,180,000. So and then after that 5 years, if the developer wants to buy it back, well, we negotiate the price and probably won't be any lower than that. So we'll get the money back one way or another. The last caution, the last protection we have on this is the clauses that stipulate if the developer goes bankrupt, doesn't finish the project, then the county owns the land and the improvements on the land. So basically, we could get a building that we don't pay for. We would get, and then we could do something good with that building and sell it to somebody who'll put it to good use. Did I get enough of that covered, Jacob?
Yeah, I was just hoping to, I know there's a lot of misinformation out there in the public, and this group is really good at getting the truth out, and that this isn't a bad business play for the county. It's actually a very wise business decision in terms of an investment strategy in your local community.
And probably everyone on this call is familiar with the basic project, but Basalt Commons, Mary Hanlon, the developer, Hanlon Development. So the old Griffith Motors, before that, the old Thomas Motors site across from Sawyer's Hardware on East 3rd Street. That building would be torn down and replaced with a mixed commercial and residential structure. Jacob, 4 stories. How many residential units? I'm starting to lose my memory on that.
116 residential units. A lot of them are 1 room. There are a few 2 rooms.
Okay, thank you.
Dan, if I could pivot over here to Salvador, because I was going to talk about Mariposa Village and how many people have been applying to go into that. Maybe Salvador can also give an update on what's happening there, and also Lupin Meadow.
Let's do that. Salvador, are you okay with that?
Yeah, that works for me.
Mid-Columbia Housing Authority.
So again, my name is Salvador. I work for Mid-Columbia Housing Authority. The day of opening for everybody to apply, it was pushed out to 350 people within 2.5 days. We had a significant amount of people that were applying for the so we have it sectioned out, which is we have a section for everybody can apply, and then we have a section that's going to be project based. In the project based one, we had over 100 people apply. So the project based, I believe you have to apply directly through us or the website that from our website, and then the other one, the third party company that is taking care of taking all the solicitations, you get to apply through them online. So it's actually 2 applications for 2 different projects within the same apartment household. But the first day it was pretty, we had a line out the door, which was kind of interesting. We actually never had that before, and we had people lined up since like 5 in the morning, which was interesting. But that proves that there is a need for these apartments. It's showing that we need to start, potentially creating more apartments like these in other places. Again, we're attempting to build the ones here in the Dalles over there by DeHart's. Mm-hmm. That is a project that we're currently working on. In the back burner, we do have the community land trust model that we are building on West 10th Street. The reason why it's in the back burner, we're still trying to apply for funding to be able to get it up and running. On the other side, on the Washington side, the Carson Washington one, it's going to be ramping up here very soon. That one, I believe, we're in the realm of anywhere between 18 to 24 months out from at least the first. We don't know quite yet if we're going to build the first 3, first 4. We're still working on that, but those are definitely moving along. We did get funding for those, so we are very hopeful that those will get people into homes here very shortly. But besides that, the home repair program, we're still currently working. That's why it may look like I'm not paying attention, but I'm looking down at the paperwork of the people that are applying. So I'm just reviewing applications right now. We're still in the process of creating the whole format of how we're going to be able to move forward with these clients. Since unfortunately Dave left us, we basically had to start a whole new program from basically kind of from scratch. We're using some of his stuff and then manipulating it to be more dated, but and then we're partnering with other organizations to be able to adapt with their information that they have, other programs that are around Oregon. And so, but yeah, so these are hoping that we will get these up and running no later than next month.
Thank you, Salvador. Dave may have retired, but he can't run. So, you know,
Yeah, it was funny because we got a text message from him yesterday or the day before. And I was like, Dave, I was like, retired, Dave. Like, what are you doing? Like, it was like early too. It was like 7 a.m, I believe, like 7, 8 a.m. I was like, Dave, go to sleep. I was like, Dave, if I was you, I wouldn't be waking up till like 9 or something. But I think that inner clock just wakes you up. And so he's been waking up early for so long that he's just up and going. I have a feeling, and this is just a feeling that he'll be back. I really do.
I have the same feeling, Salvador.
So
Liz,
go ahead, Salvador. I'm sorry.
No, that was it. That was pretty much it.
We were teasing him because we have a little group text so that he's bored already. But we are a HUD approved housing counseling center that happened this year, just a few months ago. So one of the reasons that we're a little slow to go with this home repair program is we've had to update everything so that it's all HUD compliant. There's a lot of information that they want to gather that we just didn't have on our intake. So we're doing that. We formed a really great partnership with NeighborWorks Umpqua, who has a really strong home repair department. And so we're working with them. We're actually going to send Salvador over there for a couple of days to get some additional training. We do still have down payment assistance. We still have $270,000 to give away to veterans. We have been unable to give away 1 penny of that veterans down payment assistance. And that is good for Hood River, Wasco, and Sherman counties. We still have about 60,000-ish, I think, Salvador, correct me if I'm wrong, for Hood River County down payment assistance, and around 120-ish for City of Hood River. This is approximate. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the deadline for those will be the end of June. So we really need people like under contract before then to be able to help them with this down payment assistance. We still do pre-purchase counseling. We offer homebuyer education classes, financial literacy classes. We do post-purchase counseling, which includes the home repair and foreclosure avoidance. Foreclosure avoidance, unfortunately, our referrals through the state system, the Oregon foreclosure avoidance system, have gone up. So Salvador's been pretty busy with those. We also last month, we got over 30 people inquiring about down payment assistance just through our website alone. We don't have any of the more general down payment assistance we had before. And I had a meeting this week with OHCS, and it looks like that is not going to be continuing. There's just not enough money in the document recording fees. And they're having to make some really hard decisions on the state level. And one of those decisions is, do they continue to fund home ownership programs? That's a major source of our funding, and not provide down payment assistance? Or do they not fund everybody and provide down payment assistance? So due to some state changes on the federal level, for example, pre-purchase counseling is no longer reimbursable by HUD. And that's a big part of most homeownership centers' work. I and others are encouraging OHCS to just, continue that baseline funding so that these centers can continue to exist. Because once something goes away, it's really hard to get it back. So, they seem pretty aligned with that. They're the home ownership team at OHCS. I can't say enough good things about them. They're really amazing. And Sergio, our director of real estate development, and I and Sonia will be in Sisters next week for a land trust practicum. So as Salvador said, we're getting ready to break ground here in a couple of months on our 14 single-family home community land trust project in Carson. And that's the first one, only because of how funding went. You know, we were ready to go at 310 West 10th in the Dalles as soon as we get that lift funding. So that's a project we're really excited about and more to come. And if anybody has any questions, can let us know or reach out. And if not, I'm going to log off because I have to drive an hour to the office for a 9 o'clock meeting.
Well, this is a real fast question for you and Salvador. Are you in touch with Trish Walker at Columbia Gorge News regarding veterans outreach or any of the other issues you're talking about? Newspapers are great word out.
We have been going much more grassroots. We have reached out to the VSOs, the veteran service officers,
Good.
Chelsea in the Dalles, and I can't remember her name in Hood River. I've gone to some veterans events, and announced it. We have not, unfortunately, had the capacity to get a little blurb out. It's one of those things that's been on my perpetual to-do list, and we were a team of 3 down to a team of 2, and I literally have 13 programs I'm running. And unfortunately, some things fall through the cracks, and that is one of them. I'm going to be honest.
I do want to disclose this, though. This program has been going on since, what is it? We're 2023. So this program has been going since then. And from then to now, we have done multiple radio stations, multiple ads online. We have done multiple, reached out to organizations, did interviews. I tried to reach out we went to multiple of the VA places that were having fairs and all that. And I don't know what it is about it's probably skeptical. I'm not going to lie to you. Let's be honest. Who's going to give me $30,000, $60,000 for down payment? People just don't believe it until they see it.
Yeah.
Because at first, this is the first program, and probably quote unquote maybe the last that we were just giving so much money out that people just did not believe us until they finally started seeing that people were actually buying homes, reading the contract that we were providing, that it's not a scam, that we are actually providing that for the benefit of them. Some of the funding was stipulated as a loan because it's a forgivable loan. The whole purpose of this is for homes for people to stay in the home, right? So the whole thing is that we want people to stay in the home. So if they only got 30,000 and they got the loan portion of it, because we did have grants immediately, but we weren't trying to just give out the grants and then people just, were like, oh, I don't want to do the loan portion. So we started mix and matching. So it's basically 5 years at a forgivable rate of 20% each year. So that's an incentive for homeowners to at least stay in the home for 5 years. And so then some of that probably doesn't sit well with certain people. So let's say, example, they sell the home in 3 years, right? But they bought in January, they're selling in December, but it's technically 2 years because it has to be 2 full complete years from the date of sale. And so then, from then they're like, okay, you're going to owe us 3 years of that amount that we gifted you. The reason why is because the whole purpose of the whole entire program is for them to stay in the home and actually live in the home. So, and not just a quick rich scheme where they're like, hey, they get granted me 60,000. I can sell this home now. I'm going to get that 60,000 kind of thing.
Right. Thank you, Salvador. Thank you. Okay. We might circle back on that one. Good. Let's get the word out. Appreciate it. I'm going to go around to some other folks on the table. Be sure we don't run out of time here. Misa, how about we turn it over to you? And then Mike Wacker, and then Bill Lennox.
Sure. Well, I'll start with an update. As most of you know, VR, so vocational rehabilitation, has been in what we call order of selection, which is basically a wait list. So anybody currently seeking services reaches out, they get on a wait list. But we're trying to serve the people who are already in plan. And so that doesn't mean that we can't provide services. Some of the services that we can still provide immediately, even with the waiting list, are things like the things that I've been working on with youth. So youth pre-employment transition services are ones that we can do while in this order of selection. We can also provide, if somebody with a disability is in jeopardy of losing their job due to that disability, then we can push them to the top of the line. They don't have to be on a wait list, and we can help them immediately. So those are two of the caveats that we have, that we can serve those people immediately. And, one of the other things that my Voc Rehab counselors can provide are information and resource referral. And so this is where we really rely on partners. And that's why it's important for me to attend meetings like this, because I'm out in the community where my counselors may not be. So I learn about the resources that are available, because when people are calling in and getting, before they're put on that wait list, my counselors can give those referrals to resources. So that's very, very important for us to understand what's going on, what's available to people, so that even though we can't serve them in the VR capacity, we can refer them out to resources that might help them in the meantime. And so I thank you for allowing me to be part of this meeting. It's helpful for me because, as Dan knows, I'm not located in the Dalles or Hood River. I am actually based out of Central Oregon. So sometimes it's a little bit harder for me to get embedded in those communities. So I really rely on partners to help me with that. So I appreciate that. The youth events that we've been holding those in most of the territory that I cover, which is the Dalles, Central, and most of Southern Oregon, have been going very, very well. So, any businesses out there, it's, imperative that you get in front of youth. They are the emerging workforce. It's important that you have an audience with them so you understand where their skills lay, and they understand the perspective from business. And I was recently at Breaking Barriers this week, the Breaking Barriers conference, and we had a panel of some of the youth that are receiving those pre-transition services. And every single one, when they were asked what was the highlight of the experiences that you had with that program, they all said that those job expos that they attended were the highlight, that they really enjoyed being in front of business and talking to business. So really, really important contacts.
Thank you, Misa, very much. Cool. Mike Wacker.
Pretty much the Kiwanis Club lines up the parade, and we're going to be helping with the judging along with some of our Key Club high school kids. If I'm around and you see me, it doesn't take much to bribe me. And also, when I was listening to Scott, I was thinking, Scott, a column possibility would be, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So anyhow, just food for thought, Scott. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. And we'll turn it over to Bill Lennox and then Leslie Naramore.
Hello, everybody. I'm just listening in today for this roundtable and it's good to hear what people are saying. I really don't have any specific updates directly. I do have a question, though, about making recommendations for people who want to speak or come on as speakers. So my question is to you, Dan, is it to go through Lisa directly, or is it to go to you? Who is the gatekeeper now for community affairs?
Lisa runs the chamber, and this is a chamber event, so it's Lisa's call ultimately, but I'm perfectly happy to take recommendations, immediate contacts, and then I take it up with Lisa. So I don't know if I answered
that's
your
what
question or not. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I just thought maybe it might be easier in case we do, as community members, we do come up with potential ideas, and it's always nice to know how that can best be utilized for people to come on and express what's going on in the community.
Bill, I'll put it this way. Lisa's quite busy as chamber director, and I'm not quite as busy now that I've retired. So
Right.
start with me.
Okay.
Brought him to
All
me.
right.
Okay,
That seems fair. That's fair enough. Thanks a lot, Dan. Appreciate your
thank
work.
you. Thank you,
bet.
Bill. Let's turn it over to Leslie Naramore.
Morning,
And then Jacob. Leslie, go ahead.
Okay, good morning, everybody. A couple updates from my agency. The first being that we're about to move our first 5 residents into the annex who will be permanent residents. So we've got our leases already. The first 5 units are done. And when we're completed with that project, we'll have 21 units that will be permanent. And then the rest of the units will stay as they are, transitional. And on the family side, there isn't anything that's changing. So all of the family units will still be available as transitional. And we're really excited about that project because, well, first of all, we always need to have more housing in our area. But secondly, this is serving a population that if they weren't housed at the annex, there is literally nowhere else that they could be housed. So we're really excited that we have some folks who will get to stay there permanently. And then the second update is we are working right now in Hood River to try to find a permanent location for the Hood River shelter so that we can operate that shelter year round. And we have a really good partnership with the city and the county and the sheriff's office and Center for Living. And we're really close to bringing that project to fruition, which has been a long time project and hope for the agency. And then the last thing is that another goal that I have is that this season, so this coming winter, at the Gloria Center, I want to be able to keep the pallet shelters open seasonally. And I've been having talks with partners, including the county and the city. And it is my hope that eventually we might be able to receive some funding that would support the citizens of the Dalles. But for this season, I believe that I do have enough funding to make that happen. So the pallet shelters at the Gloria Center, it's my goal to have those open November through Marchish, just like we do the Hood River shelter this season.
Good to know. Good to know. Leslie, thank you for hanging in there. I know we all have these challenges and appreciate all you're doing. We hope that anything that we can do to support your efforts. Thank you.
Thanks.
Jacob, turn it over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Jacob Anderson, Economic Development Officer. Let's talk. It is budget season, as Phil mentioned. Our Urban Renewal Agency budget has been put out, and we have about $3.58 million for property rehabilitation this year. Every year, our goal is to budget so that we can spend 100% of our money. And so with that, coming out of that, Basalt Commons is a major project for urban renewal that Urban Renewal is planning to invest in. And we have about 1.73 million of that 3.58 that is set aside for the Basalt Commons project. So that is a grant. It's not a loan. It's not purchasing of the property with an expectation of return. It's trying to do our best to make sure this project gets off the ground and we create those units that we all know that the Dalles desperately needs. Big changes this year. Urban Renewal Board has been having conversations about not just investing in pumps and pipes and public projects and the physical infrastructure. We're also talking about how we invest in the businesses, tenant improvements, business retention and expansion. It doesn't have any good if you build it, but they don't come. And so we're putting $300,000 into the community support program. That was recently the budget committee adopted the recommendation to move forward with this. So these are great discussions that are happening at the Urban Renewal Agency board. So what that leaves us with is about $1.5 million for the incentive program. This is our flagship 50-50 match where you can get up to $300,000 for your project to do what is allowed in the guidelines. So we're talking about roof repairs, we're talking about facade improvements, We're talking about interior partitioning, making the spaces more usable for different clients. So of that 1.5554 million, 350,000 has been awarded, but it hasn't been spent. So that's money that is likely expected to be spent over the next year. I also have another project area for money, and that's our opportunity-driven projects. And so that is capital facility projects by the Urban Renewal Agency. We have $300,000 in that account. So at the same time, Urban Renewal had a fair amount of money going into this budget season. We're also in the midst of the First Street project, which everybody sees on a daily basis when you drive downtown. We budgeted $3.2 million for that project. That was as much as we were expecting the project to cost when bids came out. Bids came in about $1.5 million under engineer's estimate. The issue is I don't know if anybody's been reading the news, but we are having issues with archaeological finds, a sewer line that we didn't know that we were going to have to replace. And so there's a good chance that our projects are going to bring that number up to that 3.2 million. We're doing everything we can to make sure that we don't end up spending more than the engineer's estimate. So it was a really good thing that the bids came in so low, so that we could manage these change orders. But thank goodness we had that in that contingency in the budget. Another program that was recently spun up was the exterior refresh pilot project. This is up to $7,500 per building, and this is to spruce up the facade. I'm getting great traction on this. I already have 10 businesses or buildings that have signed up and turned in their application and that are moving on it. I've got a bunch more that are interested in it. To me, this is the marketing program for the incentive program. So when you go downtown and you see a lot of new sprucing going on this spring, that is likely all due to the exterior pilot refresh program. And we're going to likely be budgeting more money in this next fiscal year to continue that. It's already having an impact downtown. So between the incentive program, the exterior pilot refresh program, we are investing in downtown. We're investing a lot of money. The the pilot project is getting people interested in the incentive program. So they'll come in and they'll say, okay, I want to repaint and restitch or work on these bricks, and then they suddenly want to do their windows or their doors or their awnings. And then so that's how I get them through the door so that then they can do the 50/50 incentive program to start doing those larger projects. So it's already successful. On top of that, we have the Federal Street project. Federal Street project Plaza was put out to bid. The city council has authorized moving forward with that project at the most recent city council meeting. We'll see construction starting in May, maybe the beginning of June. And that the hope is to have it done by Halloween. We'll see if that happens with the late start. The contractor who got the project is the same contractor that's doing First Street, which is really amazing because my goal is so that if they hit an archaeological find, God forbid, a bone anywhere, then they can just move those crews from that project over to Federal Street, and we'll be able to keep working and keep those people going so we're not getting stop work change orders, which would be a really good thing for the city funds and the urban renewal dollars. On top of that, Tony's lot that's sitting there still empty is going to get used this weekend for the Cherry Festival. And then after the Cherry Festival, the Tony's lot is going to be used as the laydown yard for the Federal Street Plaza. And then after that, I have a class working with the University of Oregon Sustainable City Year program, reviewing all the documentation that we've done on Tony's lot to date, as well as coming up with other potential ideas that we could do with Tony's lot that that could get the community engaged and interested based on some survey results that the community put in. On top of that, I have two other classes with the Oregon Sustainable City Year program that are working on activation for the plaza. So once you build it, how do we make sure people come, and what kind of events are we going to put on so that the plaza can be a roaring success and be the living room of downtown. And then one of those classes is also working on the transportation building. What are we going to do at the front end of the transportation building? What possibilities can we do with the Craig building, as well as how do we not only activate the plaza, but use the plaza to activate our downtown businesses and use our downtown businesses to activate the plaza. So there's a lot of time, effort, and money going into downtown this year. We're spending a lot of money, and it is a huge workload, but it is an absolute blast to be working on these projects. It's not all about downtown. We also have the West Side Renaissance Master Plan that we got a grant for this last year that is kicking off. So this is looking at the west side of the town and our streets, our sidewalks, our bike paths. How are we going to redesign the west side of the Dalles so that it works for pedestrians and bicyclists, and it works for the community and makes the community happy and safe. We're also halfway through the grant that Dan received through the Brownfields program. So we're doing a lot of projects on Brownfields. It's slowed down a little bit. Lately, we're going to start marketing that again. So if anybody knows anyone who's looking to sell property that likely needs a environmental 1 or 2, make sure they get in touch with me before they go to sell it, because the time frame takes a while to get through that process. And we like to have that done before, you're having to push back your dates and God forbid, you're trying to 1031 money into a business. And the last thing I can mention is the economic opportunities analysis was completed and passed. This is looking at what we have for developable land for the economic drivers for the city. We structurally have enough land in the city for our next 20 years, but we don't have it in the right sizes of classes anywhere. And so while we have the overall amount of land, it's not in the sizes that we likely need for the businesses that are likely to come in. So we're working on continuing that process between the buildable lands inventory, the housing production strategy, and the economic opportunities analysis, so that when people are interested in coming to town, in building here or growing their business here or expanding their business, we can make sure that we provide the necessary space for the continued growth of the city of the Dalles.
Woo. Take a deep breath, Jacob. Wow.
We're busy, but we're having fun.
Yes, you are. Keep up the good work. Hey, Jacob, Public Works will probably not be happy for me, to me for saying this, but the 2002 2nd Street renovation project, we ran into a water line issue there. And the cost for that came out of Public Works Water Reserve Fund. So that sewer line, maybe it doesn't all have to fall on urban renewal.
I'm looking at that both for the water line. We had a water line break a few months ago that is now we need to permanently fix it. And so that's getting stuck on the project as well as the sewer line. I'm pushing back against the city and everyone. I want urban renewal dollars to be going into these businesses that want to use these programs.
Yeah. Water and sewer needs to come out of the city, not urban renewal. Yep.
You tell the city manager that.
I will. Hey, one last point on the Discovery Center. If anybody can message me privately on the history of the formation of the Discovery Center back in 1989, 90, what drove the city of the Dalles and Wasco County to seek the Interpretive Center siting competition? I'm doing some work with the Discovery Center. Carolyn asked me to volunteer out there for a little bit. Bill, go ahead.
Bill Hulse. He used to be the county judge at one time, and he was a big player in terms of making that happen back in that time. And then he even became a volunteer there. So anyway, that's the beginning, and that is a whole incredible story to talk about.
Let's be talking, Bill. I'd like more history on that one.
Yeah,
Rob,
for sure.
I was on the Washington State side with the conference center. Rob, go ahead.
There's our quilt raffle bowl right there. Come in and fill it up Saturday morning.
Okay, we got to fill that.
Scott
bowl.
needs this thing full.
All right. I think with that, we've wrapped it up right on the dot here, folks. Busy morning, busy week. Everyone enjoy the rest of the week and your weekend. Northwest Cherry Festival. Come on down, celebrate. Everyone take care. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.